So next we'll need bag 124, which is the spine link. So we've got this printed part, and then a bag of smaller parts, which contains 2 additional printed parts. So we've got our long M3 30mm hex bolt. We've got 2 M3 20mm Phillips head screws. And then we've got our 2 spacers. So we'll take the shorter screws, they'll go through these spacers. We'll take our spine link part, get our threaded inserts, and we'll align that like this. And so we'll bring the spacer through this hole and bring the screw into the center part. So I'm just going to hand turn it just a little to get this side started. Let that hang there. I'll do it the same thing for the other side. Go ahead and line this up. So we'll push these spacers in all the way like that, and then we can tighten these up. I'm not going to make them super tight, but I will bring them all the way in. So this is still free to pivot like this. Next, we're going to position our back section of the robot, and we'll just pull these cables out of the way for now to bring it in alignment with the spine link, and put this hex screw into the spine link right here. It's going to come out the bottom like that, and it's going to go into this hole here where it will meet up with a threaded insert. So we'll have that in like that, and then we will take a 2.5mm hex driver and tighten this down. And I'm not going to make it too tight, just want it to be able to pivot a little still. A little bit of resistance. There. Okay. So now, flip our robot over, like this. We need to connect these 2 cables. So I'm going to pivot it to the side like this so we can see. First one will be this audio cable, which will go into the audio jack of the Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to push that straight in and all the way in. Like that. Pivot this way. And the second one is this connector that will go into the rear adapter board. And so I'll rotate it this way, and then we're going to plug that in. All right. So now we've got our robot fully connected. And ready to go. So I'll flip our robot over. And so now we want to put legs on the robot. So we've got our 4 bags of leg assemblies. So let's go ahead and put those together, and we'll start with bag 110, which is the front left leg assembly. So remaining in the bag from previously, we have a piece of silicone tubing. We've got a 3D printed disc, the 3D printed foot, a 3D printed spacer, and a 3D printed TPU shoulder joint. In terms of hardware, fasteners, we've got 4 25mm M2 screws and 4 10mm M2 screws. So the first thing we're going to do is take the disc, rotate it, and we're going to attach this spacer into these threaded inserts. And we want to align it so that the holes that have an inset are over the threaded inserts. So if you take a look at this, you'll see that some of these holes have an inset and some don't. We want the ones with the insets to go over the inserts. And then we'll connect them with these M2 10mm screws. So just like that. Start one of them. I'll fasten it all the way just a little bit. And then I'll do another one right across from it. Just to make sure we get this aligned. Fasten that down. Right. So the alignment's good. Put the other 2 in. So now we have our disc, and it's got the spacer attached to it. So disc with attached spacer. All right. So next, I'm going to go ahead and set up our leg. So on one end of the leg, I'm going to take the foot and we're just going to insert it, kind of twisting the end of the silicone tube until it pops in place. There we go. So I've got the foot on one end now. And now on the other end, we want to take our flexible shoulder and we're going to insert it into the tubing. I'm just kind of twist it on and bring it up right until this bend. All right, so there we've got our leg constructed. And so we're going to now take the leg and we'll take it into the front of this disc like that. So we'll use our 25mm M2 screws. We're going to go through the shoulder. I'm just going to pull this through until it hits that stop in there. And we'll just insert it through like this, the disc. And we'll do that for all 4 of them. Use a screwdriver to push them through. Make sure we get it all the way through so it's just poking out just a little bit. Okay, so now we just have to align this with our robot's leg. And so this is the front left leg, this leg here. All the legs are the same, but we'll go ahead and assign it to the one it's named for. And so what you'll see is that, so first we've got to make sure our motor is at its 0 point. And you can see that the lines, well, so you can see that the lines match up there. For the front legs, when we go to align them, you either have to choose for them to point up, like that, or to point down. And for the front legs, we want them to point down at the 0 point. So I'm just going to position it over the holes, and then I'm going to start to screw them into the actuator horn. I'm just going to do this progressively to make sure they each get into their respective slots. So they're all seem to be threading, so I'm just going to go around and tighten them one at a time. Just fasten them all the way down so that they're nice and secure. And I want to make sure that you get some motion there. Make sure that that joint is nice and strong. So that's pretty good. No wobble or anything. All right. So now we have a robot with one leg. All right, so next let's do the front right leg. And this will be the same exact process. Looks good. So now we've got two legs in the front. Next up, bag 119. It's the back right leg assembly. This is the back right leg. And so for the back legs, I'm going to check and make sure that our 0 point is matched up here, and it is. And for the back legs, we actually want, we align them at the 0 position for them to point up a little bit rather than down. Like that. So you can see it's pointed upwards instead of downwards. Okay, so I'll hold that there. I'm just going to start to fasten this to the actuator. That one is good to go. One more to go. This is number 120, the back left leg assembly. we've got all of our legs.